So for this next part of the time management buffet, it's going to blow your mind. I promise. And if you really like the Life in Colors book, you're going to love this because I have a treat for you at the end of this video. And but it's not blue, it's not gold, it's not green, and it's not orange. So you're gonna have to bear with me to find out what colors they are. So a new paradigm in the world. So the old paradigm was you have a work life and you have a personal life. What does that do? It drew an imaginary line. You saw it in between the two, and it meant that the two are constantly in opposition. Well, you still might be in that paradigm, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to blow the top off of that. All right. So what happens when you have the two in opposition is that they're constantly at war with each other. Obviously, this part of you and this part of you, which then drives your stress upward, which decreases your energy. All right. But then you are constantly guilty, whether you're on this side or this side. You're going to feel guilt, and that's not cool. And it's also not realistic. So listen to the new paradigm. The new paradigm is that you see your work life and your personal life as one life, and you can integrate it. How can you integrate it? So he came up with a cool word called flexecuting, which is adapting to change during the day. The old way was to multitask. All right. So if you were like, well, I can't divide my work life and my personal life, I'm just going to do them all at once. Well, then you've constantly got this guilt. Okay, you're constantly at war. So the new way is to alternate tasking, and that is how I just blew the top off your world, right? To fully experience both. So to help this happen, you get rid of the clock for a minute. You try this out. Just hear me out. Get rid of your clock for a minute. This is my egg timer, not my clock. Let me find my clock. It's on my phone. Get rid of your clock for a moment and start thinking of things that are necessary, practical, and efficient, and start doing those activities when they make sense. So going back to the energy-based time management, when are you the most effective? Well, most likely there's time in the morning, and most likely there's a time in the evening. So find out when those are. Then schedule your power hour during those effective times. Okay, you can choose one power hour or the other power hour, whichever one you really like, and then alternate. So then turn that off and go do something else that is obviously personal related. So I told you I would give you colors. There's red, there's green, and there's yellow. So for the red activities, and these are things throughout your day that that will come up. This means you need to stop and do those right now. So think of some activities in our business where you would have to do that right now. Okay, now think of things in your personal life where that would have to happen. Oh, school's calling, my kid just threw up. Okay? The green would be go, and these are things that you're going to do throughout your day anyway. So they take the majority of the day and they're high payoff. For me personally, that would also include, coffee with a hostess or something that's adding value. And it may not produce income, but in the long run, it's producing value. And that value is that relationship. I hold those dear. And it could be planting seeds for later, whichever are your values. If it's a value-adding activity, you're going to do it during the day. The yellow, here's your third color, is caution. So let me ask you, what are things that pop up in the day that have an urgency? So bing, we saw a presentation at ALR with all the leaders standing up in the middle of the room behaving like Facebook. The comment, somebody posts something and then 4,000 people are watching it. Post something, 4,000 people watching it. It's so distracting, and it appears to be urgent because of the words used or the threats sometimes. But you know what he says in this book is that technology has created a counterfeit urgency with its fancy dings. What is your plan to keep the counterfeit urgency at bay? There are a couple apps for that. You knew I was going to say that. There's a couple apps for that. And one of them is called Freedom. And it actually turns off your social media for a certain amount of time, which is fantastic. And with that, I'm going to close my video for a certain amount of time.